we're basically right now with the rates and everything going up.
Back to the rates.
Yeah, right back to the rates. Well, the rates are everything right now. The rates are everything, as we spoke about last weekend. But we were at 7.07%.
That was Tuesday of this week.
That
right?
was in the middle of the week, and then they went down to 6. We're back in the 6s now. A lot depends on your credit score, but it's fluctuating so much. How can anyone, make So I showed houses this week, and I was like, hey, by the way, the interest rate's at 7%, so we probably need to get in contact with the loan officer and see what's happening. The next day, hey guys, well, it's back down to 6%, so maybe we got to contact and see what's happening. So it's really tough, and I'm not sure how you are with if you're getting a lot more calls, leads. I called our SDR team on Monday when the rates went over 7, and I was kind of like,
did you talk to Ben or Tom on our amazing SDR
I have a group. I have a group chat with them. The SDR.
So you didn't call him, you texted him.
Oh, okay, I texted them. I reached out.
Your story is completely falling apart here, Ryan.
It's crumbling
for the sake of the story, on the day that it hit 7%, I reached out to them and I said, how are the phones? Are we ringing? He goes, they're going off the hook. Which was very surprising, because usually what's been happening is when the rates go up, people kind of sit and wait and see what's happening. But the day it hit 7%, I talked to a lot of agents too. They had calls about listing, buying. So maybe it's kind of like,
because that was like the scare ceiling. They're like, this is as high as we're willing to go.
Yeah, or they're like, we want to, I kept using the expression maybe 6 months ago, like, hey, don't miss the train. And I feel like the train left, but apparently people still
are hanging on the back.
They're hanging on the back, and they're like, we got to do this. So, I mean, there's going to be some interesting situations, especially when it comes to people who are getting a divorce. Because when let's say, you're married and you're getting a divorce, you have to refinance. So I have a lot of clients right now who are reaching out.
Really?
You have to.
Is that on the test? That's something I should write down?
No, yes. this is just the way. This is the way of life. Yeah. But so let's say, like, for instance, I'm married. I am married. Let's say Lauren and I are going through a divorce, and we want to do a buyout, and we bought our house at 3%, and I want to keep the house. I have to refinance. So that means
off the mortgage, right?
That's to get her off the mortgage, I got to give her half the equity. But I have to refinance. So now I had to put 20% down to get the house.
So you're diluted even more.
So you have to buy the house all over again.
I have to buy that.
It's not refinancing. You're rebuying the house.
You're getting that money. You're getting the equity because people got to get paid through a divorce. But then you're paying 7%. And I had at 3%. So there's a couple of scenarios I'm going through where people are like, what am I going to do? Right? I'm paying, let's say, $1,500 right now, and if I have to refinance, I'm going through this, I'm going to be in the high 2000s, maybe even more. I mean, it's a little bit of a tricky scenario right now.
I actually didn't see that personally this week. I did see the uptick in calls, which was great. I was really happy to see that, to kind of see it light a fire under some people. But I actually saw a little bit of the opposite. I had some people that got priced out once they got over 6.5. I know we're like at 6.6 right now. But once they got over 6.5, it was like, hey, let's have the conversation with the mortgage lender. And they had been looking in the 350 to 4 range. And all of a sudden, they're like, we need to start looking in the 250 to 3 range now.
Now, did you kind of set that? Did you tell them, like, hey, when this happens, like, did you have those numbers ready to go prior? Because I'll be honest with you, I haven't told my buyers. I said we should get in contact.
They're gonna know about this.
There's so many factors. There comes credit, income, debt ratio, debt to income ratio, right? That we could go over this 1,000. So I think what I'm gonna do is I explain this to my buyers. Let's go see these houses. Let's see what we can get them for, because they've been sitting in the market for a while now, and then figure out. I don't want to say, hey, we can't buy this house because it's too high, and I don't know. No. You really don't know. The best way I feel like is to.
We were actually having the conversation on Tuesday, because we're heading out today after the show to go see a couple houses, and it was like, hey, let's make sure that we're prepared, everything we're going into, because they've got a pretty good list, and they're FHA buyers, so first-time home buyers. And ultimately, just looking at the monthly numbers, unless they were able to put more down, right now that payment is pricing them out of where they actually want to be. So now we're still going to meet today, and we're still going to check out a couple of the properties, but then we're going to go get some coffee and kind of talk through some other strategies and say, all right, what are our other options here? Is maybe a multifamily, less house, condo, right? So we're going to explore some of those things and see what kind of plan we can come up with. So I will definitely fill you guys in next week on how that conversation goes.